Hey guys, it's Hunter again. Here I am with another list. This time it's top 20 quarterbacks primed for a good 2013-2014 season. I'd just like to say that this is just what I believe. This is just my opinion. And that being said, let's get it off. Number 20, Philip Rivers. Um, I think he's a good quarterback, but he's definitely dropped off since I believe it was 2006 when they were competing in the playoffs deep where Sean Merriman had 20 plus sacks. I believe. No, I don't think it was 20 sacks, but where the defense forced a lot of turnovers and Sean Merriman was on steroids before he got busted. But regardless, I think he's gonna have a good season. I really like the receivers they have there. Antonio Gates is gonna be a Hall of Famer in my opinion. And if Ryan Matthews can stay healthy, I think they could have a pretty decent offense. But as right now, I think he's just gonna have like the rank 20th. He's just gonna be 20th. That being said, let's go to number 19, Andy Dalton. I think he's an above average quarterback. He's nothing stellar about him. He's accurate in the short passing game. But what makes him so primed to have a good season is the tight end they drafted. They got Tyler Effort. They drafted Giovanni Bernard. And they definitely added a lot to the offense, already having A.J. Green, who I believe is top five receiver, like easily just top five. All right, and now let's go to number 18, Sam Bradford. I think he's actually going to do better than Andy Dalton this upcoming season. I really do. They drafted two young receivers, and they're both fast, and they both are great friends. They both play well together. They did great things in WVU. And not only that, they have some good young running backs as well. I like their fullbacks. I like their tight end. Their offensive line I think, is underrated. And their defense I like their defense a lot too. They're going to give him a lot of opportunities to put the ball in the end zone and keep it close. And he's just going to play. I think he's going to throw 20, 30 touchdowns, like maybe single digit interception. I think he's primed to have a great season. People probably think I'm crazy, but I think he's just in for a really phenomenal year. All right, number 17, Alex Smith. I think he was a great quarterback. I thought last year he should have been continued as a starter. I do think Colin Kaepernick did do better, but Alex Smith, I thought, in terms of actually passing the ball, he performed better. Colin Kaepernick might be a little more accurate, and his arm is a little better, but Alex Smith is older, he's more experienced, he can read the field better. It's in the best interest of the team to move on and go Colin Kaepernick. I just hate to see that guy get continuously screwed over. Anyway, he's in a good team now with the Chiefs. They have a good defense. Jamal Charles is a monster. Their offensive line is alright, but they have Dwayne Bowe, some other decent receivers. I can't remember their names right now, but there's some decent receivers. But Dwayne Bowe himself is just a monster. And let's move on to number 16, Michael Vick. Michael Vick, I think he's going to be like number 16, like in the middle of the NFL, or he's going to be like top 5. I think he's going to go back to either the 2010 ways where he was lining it up, playing MVP, or he's just going to be a little bit better than he was last year. Because Chip Kelly, he's making a mini impact. He's doing a lot of great things there. They drafted another good tight end, I believe. There's Jeremy Maclin, Deshaun Jackson. I like Jason Avant. Brent Selleck is still there, and LaShawn McCoy. I think LaShawn McCoy is probably one of the best all-around backs in the NFL. He can receive, he can cut, he can do a bunch of things. Then you also have to look at Michael Vick's abilities. He's fast, he's quick, he's getting better at reading the field. He has a very big arm. What makes the team so good is that they're all very fast, and Chip Kelly is making them conditioned, so they're going to be going pedal to the metal the entire game. They're so much faster than everybody else in the league that they're just going to just beat them so badly in terms of conditioning and speed that you're not going to be able to keep up with them. Like, they're going to beat you off the first step, but if they're already better conditioned than you at the end of the game, they're going to beat you by 4 or 5 steps continuously every single play. And that's why I think Michael Vick is primed to have a good year. And number 15, Matt Schaub. Matt Schaub, I think he's an okay quarterback, but he's been playing underneath of what he's been doing his entire career. He's been all right, but when you have if you have a running game like Arian Foster and Ben Tate for the last 2 or 3 years, you should easily be throwing 30 touchdowns. Easily, no problem. Then you have Andre Johnson. Of course, they only have Andre Johnson, but he still has Owen Daniels. The offensive line, I thought, is top 10, top 5. And yet again, they have such an amazing running attack. He should be killing it. But anyway, I think he's primed to have a good season this year, mainly because they added DeAndre Hopkins, who's a massive upgrade compared to Kevin Walter. They're about similar size. Kevin Walter is bigger, but DeAndre Hopkins is just an all-around better receiver. He's faster. he's in for a much better career. I mean, Kevin Walter's 31 years old. I thought it was good for them to move on from him and draft this kid. And then Andre Johnson's still going strong. Anyway, let's move on. Number 14. This is why I think people are going to freak out. I think 14, Joe Flacco. People are probably going to be freaking out, saying, "Oh, that's bullshit," yada yada yada. When I don't think he's really that good, and they did lose their best receiver. I mean, you look at the postseason, how Anquan had 4 touchdowns in 3 games. That's great. And Torrey Smith's a good receiver, but he cannot fill the shoes. Like, you need someone to fill Anquan Boldin's shoes. That's impossible. The dude is 6'2", 6'3", 210 pounds. Strong, very strong hands. Good route runner, and he's consistent. He is very consistent. That's going to be impossible. Who's going to step up in there? Jacoby Jones, that guy, he did all right in the postseason, but he's just fast. That's it. And on the side note, I thought they completely underutilized Ray Rice. But regardless, I think Joe Flacco is still going to have a good year. Mainly because I don't think he's that good, but he manages to do well every season. Anyway, let's go to number 13, Ben Roethlisberger. I think he's dropping off tremendously. I had him like top 10 quarterback last year, but dropped as now he's like number 13. Mainly because they lost Mike Wallace. That's a huge he's their burner. He gets deep. He beats the teams over the top consistently. They still have fast receivers, but when you lose your true number 1, that's gonna hurt you. But regardless, Big Ben is a big body quarterback who's incredibly hard to tackle. They drafted Le'Veon Bell, and that's going to help them. I think they're going to go back to the ground and pound team. He's not going to have a great statistical season, but in terms of playing and just going back to the old Steelers way of pounding the rock, run first, then pass, I think he's going to be doing very well. He's just going to really just adapt to go from what he did last year and what he's been doing his young career, when he first came to the NFL. I think that's the way they're going to be going back. There's no reason why they drafted 230-pound running back if they're just going to throw the ball over the field. Anyway, let's move on. Number 12, Tony Romo. I think Tony Romo is going to have a good season. It's either going to be up or down. That's how Tony Romo is his entire career. But I think at his very best, he's probably one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. If you have him at his top level, he is better than Peyton Manning at his top level. I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying that as a comparison. But top level, I think Tony Romo is easily top 5 quarterback because he's mobile, he's dead on accurate, he has a pretty nice arm. And then you also have the fact that they have Jason Witten, Dez Bryant, and Miles Austin. And then they drafted this receiver. I forget what his name is, but he's supposed to be pretty good. He's a big body, 6'1", 6'2", 200 pounds. But he's supposed to be their third guy, and he's supposed to be really good and take the load off of Miles Austin, who's having problems with his hamstring his entire the last 2-3 years. But regardless, I think Tony Romo's in for a great year. Let's move on. Number 11, RG3. Yeah, number 11, RG3. I just don't like the receivers they have there. They have a good running back, Alfred Morris, and Fred Davis is alright. Their offensive line's okay, but I think what made him have such a good year is that no one's seen this type of quarterback in a while, and teams are going to be able to adapt to him this year and scheme against him a little better. Not only that, he's come off that huge knee problem, and I don't know how that's going to really work well for him. I mean, he's a fast quarterback. He can throw the ball very well, don't get me wrong, but he's going to have to change his entire play style, his entire life, to fit the NFL because he had a very bad knee injury. But anyway, it's still RG3. He has a big arm. He's very, very accurate. And they have speed on the field with Santana Moss and Pierre Garçon. But I don't know if they're really receivers as much as athletes that are fast. Anyway, let's go number 10. Another fellow rookie from last season, Andrew Luck. I think he's going to be one of the best quarterbacks, if not the best quarterback in the next 10 years. I mean, he's big, he's fast, he's hard to tackle, he's mobile, he's very athletic. I mean, you watch film of him in Stanford where he's throwing blocks, he's catching one-handed passes on the sideline. He has a very big arm. We have Reggie Wayne. They added Darius Hayward-Bay, who I think it's not really fair how people say he's a bust. He was a bust in Oakland, but who isn't a bust in Oakland? I mean, Jerry McFadden is just a mess of injuries, and Carson Palmer didn't work out there. And they're just not a very good team. They're not very well organized. That's just how it is. And even still, you can just watch how they fire coaches after 1 year. That's just not very good. But regardless, go back to the Colts and Andrew Luck. They have T.Y. Hilton. They have him. I like Vick Ballard. They still have Dwayne Allen and Kobe Fleener, which I'm not saying they're Gronkowski Hernandez-like, But they're another 1-2 tight end punch in the NFL that people still don't quite see. But I think they're very good. And which, by the way, just saying, I like the Colts. Anyway, let's move on. Number 9. I think people are going to be shocked by this. Number 9, Carson Palmer of Arizona. Look at this. They picked up Rashard Mendenhall for a reason. The offensive line, they fixed the offensive line a little bit, but it's not that good. But the main reason why I have him so high is because he has a big arm and Larry Fitzgerald. Larry Fitzgerald. So I'll say Larry Fitzgerald. That's all I have to say. And we all remember like how well he played when Kurt Warner was there. Sure, they had Anquan Bolden, but the thing is, Larry Fitzgerald can out-jump anybody. He has tremendous hands. I mean, does anyone remember when he had the IHOP commercials where he was catching plays with one hand? That's just pretty much it. Just Larry Fitzgerald. I like Michael Floyd too. And there's another receiver. I can't remember his name, but they have another receiver there who I think is primed to have a good season. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of controversy over him being number 9 and higher than RG3, Andrew Luck, and all these other good quarterbacks. I'm not saying he's better than them. I just think he's going to have a better season due to the fact that he has Larry Fitzgerald, who's probably the second or third best receiver in the NFL. I mean, that dude's just so good. And people just seem to forget how good he really is. Anyway, number 8, Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan. They have Steven Jackson, who he's dropping off a little, but he's a big running back, 6'2", 240 pounds. He's going to be on the ground and pound, take the load off him a little bit. And then you have Tony Gonzalez, who's a definite Hall of Famer. Top 5 offensive line. Julio Jones, Roddy White. Not much after those two in the receiving positions, but you still have probably one of the best two tandem punch receivers. I mean, look at my list in my last video. You can see where I ranked them. It was like 4th or 3rd or something like that. But anyway, they're very good receivers. Then you have a Hall of Fame tight end, a nice running back who played in St. Louis for a long time. And then Matt Ryan, I don't think he's that good in my opinion. Like, he doesn't have a big arm. He's not dead on accurate. He just doesn't make mistakes, which is good. I mean, that's why I ranked him this high. But even still, if you want to be an elite quarterback, I don't consider him elite. But if you want to be an elite quarterback, you need to be like an Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning kind of guy, Tom Brady, where you can make every single throw in the worst possible situations. Anyway, let's move on. Number 7, Mathew Stafford. Yeah, the 4-12 starting quarterback from last season. I mean, okay, first off, they have Reggie Bush. They signed him. He's going to be a huge addition to the passing game. I mean, I think last season, the year before that when he was in Miami, he did very well. He could have been better, but he's pretty good. I mean, it is Miami though. They're in a recuperation process where they're trying to just restart and just start all over again. And Reggie Bush, being 27, 28 years old now, he wants to win now. He doesn't have time to wait. By the time they're ready to win games, he'll be 30, 31 years old. And he's not waiting for that, or they didn't want him. I forget which one it was, but either way, I think it was a mutual thing. Anyway, now he's in Detroit with Calvin Johnson, Brandon Pettigrew, a decent offensive line, and they had their receivers. Their receivers are all right. But just the fact that they have Reggie Bush and Calvin Johnson on the field, that's going to help so much. You have the 6'5", 230 receiver that was impossible to cover last year. Then you have the receiving threat out of the backfield that can beat anybody one-on-one in open field. That's just going to be so hard to cover. I don't know how defensive coordinators are going to be able to scheme against that. That's why I haven't ranked it so highly.